What's going on, fellas? Sorry I'm late. A little hectic at the house, but station. Glad to have y'all.
Brother.
My boy Burno, Fables, Scarpad. Thanks for coming, man. Looks like Steph wasn't able to make it, so he will be sorely missed. But I know my boy Fables. Even though he's a little down, he ain't feeling so great. I know he was really excited for this one. So we are obviously doing 2022's Hellraiser, the Hulu exclusive. So let's see. Let me think. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like, subscribe, and check out my homie Pop Culture Philophers, because we go back and forth on some channels. Check out my boy Scarpad, because we've been started up a new sci-fi show on his channel. If you guys are into sci-fi, and always check out my boy Fable on IG. Got the best IG show there could possibly be. Like, nobody compares, straight up. And Vern, man, we're just so sad that you stopped reading comics.
I'll tell you what. I'll plug my Instagram though, because I'm having a lot of fun posting horror stuff over there.
Dude, I'm having fun watching them.
Thanks, man. So blood.splatter.chatter on Instagram. So yes, I'm doing something, kind of.
Dude, I love that name. Just to say, I almost wanted to steal it from you.
You can feel free. I don't care.
It's a great.
I've got others.
A great name. But yeah, dude, I've been loving to see your deaths of the death. What is it? Death of the day, right?
Death of day. Hashtag death of day.
It makes me want to do it, but I just because is it 30 days? You got to do it?
Eternity.
Right. Oh, yeah. I'd fall through probably.
We have alternity to know your flesh.
Oh, man. So, yes, tonight we are reviewing 2022's Hellraiser. And if you are a big Hellraiser fan, go check out Pop Culture Philophers, because they reviewed all the original Hellraiser series except this one.
Yes.
So, what is there, like 9 of them at least? Or 9 of them now?
At the time, there was 10. Now there's 11.
Now there's 11? Wow.
Yeah, because these go to 11, right? But it was a fantastic show. It's how we kicked off Horror Fest in 2021. It was great, man. A lot of fun.
Hell yeah. So, dude, I've been really excited to talk about this. We had a really good past couple months. And, we had kind of our shows planned. So there was a few movies that just recently came out that we really wanted to review. And this was on top of that list. So I'll start off. at first I was just so scared for this, man, especially hearing about the HBO Max series coming. And then, you know what I mean? I was like, oh man, 2 at the same time. Then you hear Pinhead's going to be a girl. But then I heard Clive Barker was fully down for it, that the book says that they're like, it's trans fluid, or what is it? How do they say trans fluid? How do you say that, bro? I don't know. Gender fluid or whatever.
Yeah.
So Pinhead could be a guy or a girl. They never specify. So if Clive Barker put his blessing on it, that made me a little happier, because he kind of says it how it is. I feel like if it's something shit, I feel like he isn't going to put his name on it, or maybe if he does, he'll tell you it's shit after.
He's put his name on a lot of shit stuff.
No, he has, but he'll say,
cash that check, baby.
What he's done in the past, though, now he'll be like, like this kind of happened and that they wouldn't let me do this, but dude, I mean, Clive Barker is a fantastic artist. He's a great writer. He's a multi-talented guy that just is very unique, but yeah, man, this came from David Bruckner, who's coming off some heat. He did The Ghost House, which was a really good movie. Has a really cool, just a very unique film, and a lot different than what you're used to. I don't really want to say much, because just go.
Are you talking about
The Night House?
Night House.
Okay.
What did I say? The Ghost House? I'm sorry, The Night House.
I've never seen that one. I've never seen that one. Or he did like something called The Ritual or something.
Yeah, I just watched that.
That's one of my. Because that was direct to Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that one, man. That's a fun one. It's kind of like this woods movie where they just it makes me never want to go in the woods after watching it. You know what I mean, Vern?
Yeah, it's kind of like The Descent, but with men and going into the woods rather than going into a cave.
Yeah. So David Bruckner, and I believe he might have done something on Southbound.
Yep.
With the Scream guys, and then I want to say, because Steph was saying that he also did a VHS segment, which was Steph's favorite segment of all of them, and I know he produced the last 2, VHS 94 and then VHS 99. So dude, he's coming in straight up for horror, and I'm loving what this guy's doing, man. I just cannot wait to see what this guy does in the future. I really hope they let him get another stab at this, maybe even get a trilogy. And because I know he said that it was hard to figure out how to make this movie, but he's like, we figured it out, we did it, and he's like, I think I could bring so much more to the table now that we figured out how to do this, so I would really like to see, because obviously this movie I really love this movie, but there's room for improvement, and they can do so much more in the sequels. I'm not gonna say the movie's perfect, because there are a couple faults, but I still really enjoy this movie. What we've gone through being Hellraiser fans. So, this is probably perfect if you're going to consider what came before it. But yeah, man, I had a blast with this. I've seen it a few times. I do really like the main girl. I know some people a little iffy on her because she does make kind of a couple stupid decisions. But I don't know, something about her. Maybe just because she's hot. I hope the wife didn't hear that, but yeah. I told my girl too. I was like, she kind of reminds me of you. She's like, I fucking hate her.
Of course she does.
Yeah, but I'd say one of the few people I'm not crazy about is Trevor, which is the guy she's kind of sleeping with.
Everybody else.
Everybody else is pretty fine. I wish I would have the brother because the brother is from what is that? That 19 Reasons to Die, or what is that show called? But he's in that show, and he's really good, but he's only in it for a little bit. So I would have liked to see him be in it more, maybe like his boyfriend, get it instead, because I just feel like maybe for future sequels he would have been better. But I guess if she's gonna be in the next one, then it kind of follows the same path.
Well, she had a motivation too.
Original,
she wouldn't be,
and then Kirsty, or
she was her motivation.
Maybe Kirsty will be in like a sane asylum in the second one, or like she was in the second one. But maybe like in the second one, her brother's gonna be trying to get me out of hell. But it seems like she kind of knows that you can't make a deal with these guys.
Right.
But I'm gonna say practical effects, really great, really damn great. something different, a little more unique. It's not as leathery, you know. It's more skin, I guess. The music, really good as well. At first, I was thinking it was a little light on some of the Christopher Young stuff, but watching it in the car, I liked it a lot better. So, Robbie, what did you think, bro?
I mean, I really like this film. I kept my expectations down low when this one was first coming out, and other people around me were more excited for it. And I was like, I can't let the hype build up because I am such a huge fan of this franchise. I love 1 through 7. Unironically, I love all 7 of those films. 8 and 9 are rough. 10 had potential, but I was a little wary about this one, and I was very surprised with it. When I did my original review on Rock and Robbie Live, which got clipped out onto Pop Culture Philosophers, I gave it a 4.5. I was really excited and overly excited about it, right? I feel. However, I rewatched it this week. It had been my second time watching it. It still is a incredibly solid movie. It held together so well. It's a 2-hour movie. Doesn't feel as long as some 1.5-hour movies I've seen lately. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the length. It's about the pace. This movie has a good pace. It's got a good structure to it. It's typical at times. I love how it expands on the lore and mythology of the Lament configuration and beyond. I love all of that kind of stuff. The characters are very flat, one-dimensional, really, not even two-dimensional. They're just one-dimensional. They're just points in existence, right? But they're only there to basically get got. But for the most part, I really liked it. There are certain things in the story, like certain things in the twist, like I call that super early in the film or whatever. So like Dylan said, it's not a perfect movie, but holy cow. And the biggest worry, the biggest concern, because what carries the Hellraiser franchise is Doug Bradley. And it ain't been the same since he hung up the pins. You know what I'm saying? Jamie Clayton nailed it. I loved the Cenobites in this movie. They were different, but they were still the same type of creepy that I remember from when I was a kid watching Hellraiser, where there's something beautiful and glamorous about them as well as horrifying and evil. So story and structure and everything, it could have some things to work out, but I do think it's shot beautifully. I love Jamie Clayton as Pinhead. The voice, how they did that. Oh my goodness. They're like, their pain, their blood. And it kills me because she could have easily done a Doug Bradley impersonation, which the 2 jackasses that played Pinhead in 9 and 10 did, right?
Oh my God.
That's not what she does. That's not what she does, right? She makes the character her own, and it really works. But the other symbiotes get a lot of time to shine too. I do really fucking hate that you can just fucking stab a Cenobite for one of your sacrifices. I think that's pretty fucking stupid. And to get rid of the chatterer like that pisses me off. Aside from that, though, I still love the movie. I thought it held up immensely well overall.
Hells yeah.
Sick, dude. Yeah, I think Jamie Clayton did a great job. And I think they didn't overutilize her as well, especially if we're going to get sequels that, I feel like maybe a little bit too much of her would have been like.
Yeah. Well, you remember in those movies, Pinhead is the draw, but he's not in these movies very much.
You're right. And they use her as kind of like the draw, she's obviously the leader. But yeah, I did not like that cop out where they kill a chatterer like that. Obviously, the chatterer is going to come back, no doubt. But I would have liked to see Mask a little bit more, like the face guy or whatever, who kind of pulls up on the side of Chatterer or whatever. We barely got any of him. They show more of the black one with like the things in her eyes, and then like the Asian one who has like the piercings in her nose and stuff.
Yeah, the vagina neck.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Obviously, she's the original girl,
right?
Which,
the other one is called
Deep.
The other one is called the Griever or something like that. I think
the Griever.
Was I mistaken? Weren't they making the Chatterer at the end out of Voight? I thought that was what they were doing with ripping his. You know what I mean?
No, I think he was ascending, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna. That to me. That's a more like a Chenard thing that they're doing to him.
Yeah, I was getting Chenard vibes off of that.
Didn't Wolfman have Chenard?
I was wondering, like, what? So obviously, are we supposed to be getting like? Is it supposed to be like Jesus on the cross representation type thing? I just didn't understand what he was doing with that, but I guess that's what the rebirth of Voight or whatever. Which that whole thing with Voight is just insane, with him having this thing in his freaking thing, and they're like, "You don't like our gift," and he's like, "Get the fuck out of me," and they're like, "Oh."
Well, the only thing I didn't understand is I think didn't they say their victims should go through constant pain and more pain, more and more sensation, but then they end up killing the girl, that her friend or the roommate. They rip her head off. She's done. So
I think they just ripped her back off.
It looked like they ripped her head off.
Well, it was weird because I get what you're saying. When the first time you see Pinhead sit there and she puts the pin through the woman's neck, that character doesn't say anything. They're just like, "Oh shit, we need someone for Pinhead to kill. Let's can we get a roommate in there to?" That's the only thing she does. But they just rip her back off. And right before that, he says, "You'll experience so much more pain."
And that almost brings up I have very few complaints on the movie, but one of my complaints would be that I thought the movie was very dark. Almost, you really couldn't see shit going on. And I have a OLED TV that's usually with the black stuff you can really see, and it was very murky. I thought some of the stuff was kind of not as clear as it could have been if it was a little brighter.
See, I actually did not have that problem. It came across
on
very
my phone.
clear.
I had that problem, but not on my TV.
It was like beautifully, to me, it was like has this beautiful atmosphere of like blues with like these like highlights of red in the back sometimes. And the way that one of my favorite things about the original Hellraiser is when the box gets configured and you start seeing like the smoke and the light coming through the bricks, the way they handled that with everything moving and shifting, like dimensions were expanding. Dude, that's what it's like when I'm on shrooms. I was like, oh no, I can't take shrooms again ever. I think fucking Pinhead's about to come and get me. But the one thing in all these Hellraiser films, they talk about how they're going to extend out this pain or whatnot. And then they kill these people really quick.
Yeah.
Well, not really, because they wind up going to their plane of existence, right? Because that's how Frank came back. Remember, Frank gets killed and then he's there with them for eternity. And he had to escape. So to me, that's how it works. Is like your physical body gets killed, but now you're in their world. Your soul's there. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, the other thing, though, I just watched the first movie, and Frank came back in that room where he died in by his brother's blood going into the wood, and that's never really tied in this film at all. It seems like he was still
in this interpretation. It seems like you have to sacrifice people as you unravel more of the box, as you get more configurations. You gotta, a new knife comes out, and you gotta sacrifice somebody in order to reach the other thing.
That's a little different.
She says there's no going back once you cross the threshold. There's only more thresholds to achieve.
Right. It's sounds like a dope video game coming out in 2023. It's like levels to this shit.
Where are my keys?
Yeah.
Okay. Verno, what did you think overall about the film?
I really enjoyed it. I watched it when it came out, and then I watched it again last night. And unlike I think all of you guys, like I don't have much of a past with the franchise.
I don't
We were talking last week how there's certain movies that you appreciate more when you're a kid and not so much now, and then vice versa. And for me, Hellraiser was that when I was a kid. I think 3 is the one we used to always rent because Pinhead was on the cover and it looked dope. And I think I was always hoping it would be like a slasher when I was a kid, and I wasn't ready for it. But recently I went back and I watched the first 2, and it's like the first one's a fucking masterpiece, which you guys already know. It blew my mind how good it was. So I was really looking forward to this, and I liked this quite a bit. I think the biggest thing for me is like the look. The visuals of this movie are fire. Pinhead looks dope, as you guys said. The Cenobites, they all look fantastic. The lighting, what they do when they light Pinhead is, I think, Robbie, it's kind of what you were talking about. They're constantly like, it's like there's light and then shadow, constantly fluctuating on her face. And it just looks so fucking cool.
Yeah, she comes across like the moon almost, where the light's almost like as if it's reflective. Like there's no light source going to her. It's almost like it's emanating off of her, right?
Yeah. It looks cool, man. I mean, the look of the movie is for me by far the best element of it. I do think it's weird because I think it was a little bit long, but I don't think it ever dragged or was slow. It's just both times I watched it a little bit late and I was getting fucking tired by the end of it. So for me, in those instances, it was a little long. But the characters, I would disagree, or at least maybe I just felt him a little bit more. I liked all the characters, even Trevor. Like I thought earlier in the film, he was actually pretty decent. I really like Riley, the main character, who is divisive. People don't, a lot of people are kind of hating on her, but I think she's fucking great. She emotes super well. She looks like the love child between Mike Wheeler from Stranger Things and Darlene from Roseanne. If they were to have a kid, that's who it would be. She gives off mad Darlene vibes. But yeah, I do wish there was a little bit more gore, and it was a little bit darker. And I do wish there's one thing, like a big theme from the original one, at least, is that the main characters, like these thrill seekers, these people that are trying to reach their limits and everything. And Riley isn't really that. She's like, she kind of is. She's a little Hellraiser. She's going out there and breaking into stuff and stealing boxes, but she's not a pleasure seeker. Like Voight is. Voight's kind of the more interesting classic Hellraiser character, from what I can tell.
Yeah,
but I love it.
There's a piece that to me, I do feel like something got lost with the idea that this is something that you're supposed to seek out. Like you're looking for it first. It ain't just going to happen upon you. But when you look at the franchise, that is kind of what happens. It does fall in people's laps, right? Even in that first movie, Kirsty's whole story is like she's not seeking that shit out. You know what I'm saying?
She's kind of an innocent bystander.
Yeah, and then
she's similar. She's very similar to this girl in this one, where she's the box comes to her through being from the other characters, and she happens upon it because of that, and then it goes from there.
And I can't fault it too much, though, because as much as I don't necessarily like the idea that you use it to kill somebody else, like it's a sacrifice or whatnot, as much as that does kind of bother me, and I feel take away something essential about like the you seeking it out and pushing those thresholds, right? And this, as opposed to this just happening upon someone, that does happen in many of the other films, but it always finds its way to people of a sort, right? And I think that's one of the points of it, is that the box will find its way to where it's supposed to go. And
Pinhead had that scene where she tells the girl, "You're the right type of person for this because you're seeking what she's seeking." She's a drug addict. So a drug addict's always seeking the bigger high, the next thing. So she has that trait, even though she's trying to battle that back. Pinhead knows, she can feel she has that trait, and that girl will keep on seeking it out.
When they get stabbed too, it's almost like they get a high and they almost nod out. You know what I mean? And they all start. They're like, "I feel weird," and then they're like, "I hear bells." And so,
right.
So, it's got a psychedelicness to it with the landscape changing and all that. Yeah, they did a lot of cool shit with that.
Because with
that scene with the van, where it almost seems like, oh damn it, now it's a head. It's like they're trying to catch up with the van. They keep opening up the
That reminds me of Freddy versus Jason, when Jason's in the van. In a way,
that is almost like that scene, dude. Yeah,
I just thought of that.
Except for they don't have those badass black lights like that dude had in the fucking Freddy.
Oh yeah, because he had that
pimp
ass
van,
shag wagon.
Yeah, man, I love it.
Yeah, so Vern, you didn't mind Trevor. He's not that bad, but it's just, I think after I know the first watch, I would have said he's fine. I think on rewatches, because I've seen this probably 3 to 4 times at least, fully, probably 4 now at least. I think I just after I hear his motives and stuff, I just you fucking ass,
right?
You know what I mean? So, and then I'm just and he gets to knock boots with her, and he betrays her. You really are a fucking piece of shit.
The last thing I was gonna say is just I love a movie that the first act sucks you in. Within 30 minutes, I'm invested in all the characters. I liked everybody, and just they had the group dynamic between all of them. like her brother and her brother's boyfriend and the roommate. You kind of like when he tells him, "Did you really just turn down the TV to listen to us argue?"
Yeah,
Like there was something about that just showed me the dynamic of the group. That you know,
They're
with
really
still few words, you kind of get it. So
You just heard
I
us
dug
fucking,
that.
didn't you?
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
when,
that too.
what is it when Trevor's like, "You want a drink? What do they got?" And she's like, "We don't drink around Riley," or you know what I mean. And it's like they've been through this. They're like, we've had to track her down before. You know, like this isn't the first time we've had, because they just think of this is her relapsing. This is her, you know, going on another bender. They're like, we've done this before. You know what I mean? But that's really not the case. She does take the pills, and then, you know, the cut, or you know, when the box opening happens at like the same time that the pills hit her, I guess. So they kind of like bring those highs together in a way. What was it though? Yeah, I feel terrible when her brother gets it, man, because he just another bystander. He didn't do that.
Well, that guy's just goddamn turned up to 11, like the whole goddamn time. You never see him not be a fucking asshole, man.
And I brother and sisters, though.
I get it, man, but god damn, dude, like what? She's coming home. Like I don't know, man. It kind of threw me off for a bit, but I do like him. And if they did a sequel, they could use him, bruh.
That's
he
what
could
I
escape or something.
They
right?
could. Well, they could use him like they did the father in the second one, where he's like, "Give me, please. I'm in hell and I'm alone." And I thought they were kind of pulling at that a little bit too, because they do like, and he's like, you know, and he hugs her, and then you see the back. You see him look normal, but then the back looks like Frank in a way. You know what I mean?
That was gnarly.
That was so cool, man.
But if they did a sequel, I want it to be about a whole different group of people.
I agree too.
You don't want it to be the same.
I agree.
No. You don't want any of them in it.
No.
I think we should move on to
this story's done.
Yeah,
I think I probably could agree. I think you're right that I don't know where you could really go.
Yeah, no.
With it.
I mean, you could just go where she has her shit pulled together and then somehow she comes across the box again. You could do that story, but it would be more
maybe
intriguing.
She doesn't have to be the main character, you know.
There's something that Pinhead does in this movie that I think is a good jumping off for part 2, because it would be in line with the first trilogy.
What's that?
Well, she when the girl didn't want to, she stabs the girl. Like she makes her get stabbed.
Right.
And Pinhead wouldn't do that. Pinhead, you have to be volunteer for this. This is something you have to want. Pinhead would never force you into it. She forced that girl into it. Now, in part 3, Hell on Earth, Pinhead was trying to escape Leviathan and become his own entity. He escaped his good side, and his good side was trying to hunt him down to form again, to come together again. Because if he didn't, Pinhead would take over the Earth. That's why it's called Hell on Earth. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think her stabbing the girl, at first I didn't like that. I was like, oh, Pinhead wouldn't do that. But then I thought in my mind, I was like, wait a minute, maybe they're trying to get vibes from Hellraiser 3, where she's like, no, I'm going to take this shit into my own hands.
Also, I think that's the whole reason why she bargains with Riley, right? She's bargaining. I don't think, because that doesn't seem to go right. Now, I also do feel, and I think that's a great idea, but I feel at a certain point, the writers were like, I don't know how to get these people to actually get killed, because we want Riley to not actually do it. You know what I'm saying? So it just has to have to happen. Like, you know, like Boyd does one of them, and then because he's the one that initially stabs her, the one lady, right? But then you're right, Pinhead causes that one to be stabbed, right? Yeah.
Ooh.
What about you, Scarpad? Overall, what'd you think?
Why, you know, I think that going in, it's really Hellraiser without the sleaze factor, because I did rewatch number 1 again today, and you know, the number 1 I think sets it up a little bit better with the you know Frank, you know, he's a thrill seeker, he's a sex addict. They go in, and you can kind of believe his turn. I think the main problem I had with this story, I love everything about this movie. I think they go into the lore a lot more. Now, bear in mind, I've only seen 1 to 3, so I didn't see a lot of that stuff. I didn't watch every single one. But basically on the trilogy, I think they go into the lore in this one really good early. The Hellraiser 1, the original one, it took a long time. It was only a 93-minute movie, and it took a long time to get past kind of like the sex stuff with Frank and the guy's wife, you start getting into that stuff. So I was glad that got established a lot earlier in this one. And I think this one does a better job. If just looking at this movie based on the first one, the last one, does a better job in establishing the world quicker. Maybe because all those other movies came afterwards. But I love the look of it. I think it shot well. My only complaint is I do think it's a little long. I think it's a little dark. And the thing I think they could have done a better job on is Voight is a pretty big character, but yet you see him in the beginning. He's the whole beginning setup, and then they really spend a lot of time at the end showing you what happens to Voight. But you don't get a lot of his motivation. You know why Frank was doing it. You don't really know, other than Voight's probably a rich asshole. Why he's doing what he's doing, or ultimately what he wants to. It doesn't give a clear picture of what he wants. Does he want which level of the box does he want? But otherwise, I thought the characters are good. The girl's really good. Everybody else is pretty solid. I think the effects are good. The music is really decent. So I like the movie overall. I think having a female Pinhead was good. She was up to the part. So I enjoyed it. Like
way better than those doofuses in Judgment and Revelations. Like so much better, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, she was good. Really good.
She was great. I love all the fucking Cenobites in this one, man. Like the one that like has the lungs exposed on the back. That's like it's got the face like this, like with like almost looks
the
like
one that breathes.
Yeah,
like
all that, and then all of a sudden, like it detaches some shit and just starts going crazy, running and shit. Oh my god, I fucking love it.
Robbie's right. I would like to see them a little bit more. Would like them a little bit more involved.
Yeah, I love the Cenobites, the look and all that kind of shit. And Jeremy Johns said they kind of look like the new Phyrexians. If anybody plays Magic: The Gathering, that is exactly their look, like pale flesh with peeled away, and I really like it. I think the look is really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Then they exploded that one dude. They blew him up there. So.
Yeah, fucking. And that's an homage to the death of Frank and Andrew Robinson's body at the end of the first one when he says Jesus wept. I was hoping Chatterer would say that, like, but he has no lips. So I guess that's not
Jesus what?
What? He's like Fire Marshal Bill.
Let me tell you.
What about you, Fable? What'd you think overall, bro?
Overall, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed it even more on my second watch through. Like a lot of you guys, I had real low expectations. I thought the franchise really took a nosedive after Part 4. And Part 4 wasn't the greatest thing either. But I enjoyed Part 4 more than probably the rest of, the 5 movies that came out afterwards. But this one, it kind of takes the finer points of 1 and 2 and melds them together. And like Scarp had said, gets to the lore. Is more clear about the lore, which the first one, the first one wasn't, it was about Pinhead and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it was just like this really torrid affair, this love triangle that had this like demon stuff involved with them or otherworldly stuff involved.
Yeah, what's her name? It's Julia, right? Who's the okay. So like Clive Barker's whole thing is he wanted to build like the first like female lead in a franchise. Julia is the monster to him in the first Hellraiser film and the second one. And you can see that he's trying to build up to the idea of her becoming like the first female Jason or Freddy or something like that, right?
She didn't want to do it after the second one. They would have continued that trajectory, but she bowed out after 2, the actress.
And the New World Pictures went under and there was a whole battle to get 3 made, and then Miramax got it, and then after 4, I mean, they're all direct-to-video. They're not Hellraiser movies when they're initially written. They're just made into Hellraiser films. So, yeah,
that's crazy.
But yeah, this one did a good job of involving Leviathan, and I totally got Chernard vibes from Voight, definitely, and he's definitely become the new Cenobite at the end. I think I think we're going to see him again. I think we're definitely going to see again that iteration of what he became.
Definitely.
And yeah, I mean, I guess the thing I didn't like I said, is when she forced the girl into doing her bidding, and I don't think Pinhead would have ever done that. But then on this watch through, I kind of got the vibes that, well, maybe that's where they're heading, is that she's going to try to break away from Leviathan, because she was doing certain things in this movie that made me feel like she's not all the way down with everything. Like the way she observes certain things, her movements, she kind of says the right thing at the right time, especially when Leviathan is present at the end. I think also what you said, Dylan, about the soundtrack being underutilized, I agree. They brought it out at the end, and it was awesome to hear. But I would have loved to hear a lot of more of the themes, at least the light flute theme that they have throughout the movie.
It's just a little underutilized.
Yeah, I would have definitely. And as far as characters, like, man, I really enjoyed the brother-in-law, the boyfriend, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I liked him too.
He was a really good dude, you know, like he had a really good heart. He really, like, you know, wanted to find what happened to his boyfriend. He really cared for his little sister. You know,
You also
he had genuine love for her.
You also believe that he's terrified when he's terrified. Like, he's a great
Right.
scream queen, for lack of a better term. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like that he survived at the end, you know,
Me
because I
too.
didn't think he deserved to buy it. And a very good use of, like, having like a gay character, but without like blatantly telling you, yeah, this is some gay stuff, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
he's
throwing
just
it
a
in your
normal
face.
dude. Yeah, it's just, you know, he's the boyfriend. That's it. And then he goes through stuff, and it's great.
But
It's a great
yeah,
use
but then it's like
him.
he's just basically like a brother to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right.
no, he was awesome. He was awesome, and I think that's how you should do it. You know what I mean?
I love when she calls him too, or when he calls her, and he's like, "Yeah, like that's the fucking point. Like we need to be together." He's like, "I don't know what to do, and I just want, like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, I just want
Yeah.
to be doing something, and we should be doing it together because Matt would do everything. He would know what to do, and I don't. You know?" And she's like, "Yeah."
No, he was fantastic. I thought
Plus,
he
he
was really
also
good.
knows that the roommate's the worst character because there's no personality, anything there. Like, you're just waiting for her to die at any moment.
Exactly.
Oh, poor girl, man. She really
Yeah.
bites the dust.
She had one destiny.
I like the Cenobites, the new version of them where they're fleshy and they're, you know, it kind of melds that no skin makeup that Frank had in part 1, and Julia had in part 2, but also like even though I do still think the older Cenobites are cooler, man. I like the leather, man.
Yeah, the older
Something
ones are-
about
yeah.
the leather.
It's very hard to
and-
get used to that.
Yeah, you know,
Because of
Pinhead
the
has
leather.
the 2 hook knives, right in his like belt right there, and there's just something about the leather. But I do enjoy these Cenobites as well. They pay perfect homage to the older Cenobites.
Well, they might get their costumes in the second one, you know.
I feel
the
like in a
Avengers.
way too, the leather is just maybe aged a little bit. So maybe like it would like I feel like
Right.
maybe by next movie we'll be more used to it. You know,
Yeah.
maybe
In
they just didn't think the
1987.
leather would work in
In
2022.
1987,
Leather was big.
leathers and S&M, it was not normal, right? It wasn't so, like nowadays, like everybody's got like a fucking sex swing. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? So like
So, yeah.
we're doing it a little bit differently.
So the skin in
Arpad's
a way
on
was
his
like
sex swing right now.
And you know,
I got that thing that George Clooney built.
the different things of like what you want out of lament configuration, like, or whatever the configurations, you know, I thought that was pretty cool, adds a cool dimension, but it all leads to the same shit, right? Like, it doesn't matter what the hell you pick, you're gonna get fucked.
But doesn't it make you want to know?
No matter what you pick, your skin's coming off.
It makes me wonder, like, okay, so this dude picks sensation, and now he has to feel his nerves being pulled. Or okay, that's cool. Then, but okay, and we know that resurrection would have been cool, the Lazarus configuration. But what if someone chose lore, knowledge? Like, what does that mean? Like, I want to see the results of these other configurations. So that does lead to like wanting to see something in like
Right.
another movie.
Something different, right?
That's
Because
why
all
you have
movies
the
configuration.
all movies
layer.
always show
Yeah,
the yeah.
Well, I'm
Same
curious
one.
to see how these, because Prey and Hellraiser both seem to do pretty well on Hulu.
mhm.
Like, are they making money off these movies enough to go forward with sequels to them?
That's
Or,
a-
The only
I
thing
don't
I'm concerned, do
and
you
how they
think
make
there's
money on them. Period.
well, I don't
do you
get
think
it.
there's
Yeah.
enough? Do you think there's enough to make a TV series out of Hellraiser though?
There's I don't know. Probably there's a couple books, but it's David Gordon Green, so I don't really have a lot of faith anymore. And then he's also,
No, but you
I
could
think
have-
he's producing. I believe he's producing, maybe writing scripts, but that
Yeah.
still doesn't. That
But
still
you could
doesn't
have like a
make me feel any
12-part
better.
series or a 10-part series. We don't have to have seasons or an actual television
Right, I
show.
get
Yeah,
it.
it could just be a limited
different era.
series.
It could be just like
That would be
7
better.
episodes
10-part
that tell
series
this
that's
cool
one and done.
story. Yeah.
I prefer just having movies because
But
I feel like they would stretch it out and all that kind of shit.
And
I don't know, man. I just
Well,
I just
Dylan asked a question is how they're doing, but I don't think these movies originally were made for Hulu. They were movies that got caught up in the Disney, Fox, and other things, and wound up on streaming. I think they were originally always meant to be in the theater.
You know, Disney Plus is just now getting used to the idea of maybe putting more mature content on that service, and these were things that they delegated down to Hulu, basically, right?
Well, one of you, I think Robbie, was you that had mentioned before, like had Prey been in theaters, it would have done well. I don't know if Hellraiser would have done as well because reviews have been a little bit more mixed, but it's I don't know. Like I'm just curious about the money and how it's made, and if there, if there's enough to go forward.
Reviews on this were mixed.
I would say, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't go reading a lot of reviews, but from the vibe I got, most people liked this, but I think Prey, more people liked Prey.
Oh, more, probably, yeah. Because
I think a whole different type of movie.
Prey's a little bit more
widespread
mainstream
type
too.
movie, yeah, more appealing. More people are fans of Predator than the Hellraiser series.
I know Fede Alvarez is supposed to do the new Alien movie, and that's, I believe, the guy who did. Is he the one that did the Leatherface movie that came out last year, or Texas Chainsaw?
Yeah, I'd be very surprised.
He did the Evil Dead, or he might have done the Evil Dead.
I'd be very surprised if they don't do more of these on Hulu.
I hope they do, because I want David Bruckner to be like the directing. I hope they let him get like his own trilogy, because this guy, man, is the real deal from what I've been seeing come out of him, man. He doesn't like try and push agendas on you. He doesn't try and like Romero and them. They would have, lingering things, like what the movie's trying to say, as we call it. But they didn't force that down your throat. You know what I'm saying? You could just watch that movie and just stay. Maybe some did force it down a little bit more, but I feel like most of the time I was watching those movies and I never thought one fucking thing of what they were trying to say. You know what I'm saying? It's not until really we started the show that I would look more deeper into that.
Right.
So that's just something,
And this guy knows how to
doing.
He knows how to use practical effects to and then enhance it with the computer. Like when they ripped a piece out of the guy at the end and his body was forming again, you could tell that a lot of that was practical mixed with CG, and it looked really good.
That looked
which is what we always try and say. It's
Yeah.
like, thank God someone's finally doing it. It's like 80% practical. And then
the Affectionist was good, but there was still not a scene like I watched the original one tonight, and that scene where Frank comes back to life for the first time. There's
nobody
nothing in the
nobody can do that anymore.
But that's totally like nobody does effects like that either anymore. Those
that was a spur of the moment effect too. They were like, we need something here to show like the transition from the blood dropping to his first appearance. And so this guy was like, I don't know, give me some condoms and some wood and let me see what I can come up with.
Condoms and wood.
Oh my God.
They used to use condoms all the time. All those bladders, like when you see that kind of effect, it's condoms being like manipulated with air and shit like that.
Of course, on the flip
that
side
scene
of that,
is iconic. That scene
on the flip side of that, the first scene where Frank gets the hooks into him, that went into his skin, that looked terrible. It looked like an orange peel. He was putting orange.
Oh, I think it looked pretty good. I get what you're saying. It looked a little fake, but it looked good too.
Have you ever seen the old people down in Miami that are at the beach in Speedos all the time? They got leathery, orange, peely skin. Okay, I think Frank has been out in the desert for a while.
Who did the makeup effects on Hellraiser 1? Because I don't think they get enough credit if it's somebody like
I know who it is
on the ground, because you're right, the Frank makeup effects, especially when he first comes out and he looks kind of skeletal, I mean, that's amazing stuff.
And it's like he just feel like you can see like the blood and like the nerves
and some of it
Bob Keane.
And some of it was stop motion too. The scene where after Julia gets the first victim and he's dried up on the floor, and Frank's crawling toward him. That looked like it was a puppet or a stop motion thing.
Right.
So there's some
it's
emotion.
fantastic for the budget they had.
It's actually
Well,
a little dude. It's actually
add
somebody, I
to-
think, without their limbs or something like that played that Frank in that bit, I think.
To add to what Robbie you were saying earlier, they also they shot the movie. The studio looked at it and they liked it. The original Hellraiser, they liked it. They were like, "Oh, this is a lot better than we thought." They gave them more money. They're like, "Go in and add some more gore." I don't know if that specific scene was part of that, but they did get a chance to go back and add a lot of that practical to kind of spruce up the movie.
They should go back and add some more gore to this one, and it would really soar
a little bit more,
and because it gets touted as being very sexual and very gory and violent, and I'm like, it's really tame compared to some of the other Hellraiser movies. So come on.
Just the part where his arm skin gets peeled back by the damn wire, that looked pretty gnarly.
That looked pretty good.
The pin through the neck I thought was really fucking dope too.
And then when that one
the internal view,
gnarly.
When she puts the pin in her throat and her voice is like, oh,
yeah,
that Day of the Dead thing when the throat's getting ripped, right? You threw that on Death of Day, right? Yeah, all that. One of my favorite deaths ever.
Hell yeah, dude.
Also, you did the one where the City of Living Dead where she's puking all of her guts out, right?
Yeah,
that one too.
That was crazy.
Well, the
I like
original,
the one where he puts the guy through the
dead, where the guy gets pulled apart.
buzzsaw,
Looked pretty good too.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Big Rum.
Fulci's got plenty of them. A lot. A lot of the best deaths are in Fulci movies, I've noticed.
Faye, was there anything else you want to throw out there, boss?
Oh no, man! I thought this was a worthy movie to carry the Hellraiser name, man. Definitely, they definitely did their homework. They definitely knew how to bring it to the screen, and like you guys said, I was real trepidatious about Pinhead being a female. It not being Doug Bradley, period, because Doug Bradley, I mean, so iconic. It's just like Robert Englund as Freddy. It's just too difficult to not see that face. But I think they pulled it off. She carries the movie, and yeah, looking forward to a sequel for sure.
Me too, man. Me too. I'm glad you liked it because I know you are a huge Hellraiser fan.
Yeah.
So let me think. We kind of touched on it, most of the stuff. I guess we can do what the movie's trying to say, and then anything else you guys really want to add into it. Is there anything I'm forgetting, Robbie? I feel like we touched on everything.
Probably favorite character.
Practical effects. If there's anything we forgot, just throw it out there when we're talking.
Probably favorite character, probably.
Well, I mean, I think we've covered a lot. Yeah. Like we've pretty like this. We're getting so good at this, y'all. We're like covering it. But if there was something you didn't mention, you can
rate this mother.
Basically, this is a wrap up, right? Wrap up your thoughts. What we're saying.
Yes, sir. So I know a couple of y'all are in a bit of a time crunch. So Faye, you want to start us off? Since you just went, we'll do Robbie this time, so you give it a little second. Robbie, what do you think the movie's trying to say? And anything you might have missed, favorite character or whatnot? What do you think, my man? Music.
Well, one thing that I did want to mention was Ben Lovett's music, and I get what you guys are saying, but I actually love this movie's music. Like I love it.
I do too.
When I first started watching this, and I paid attention again on the rewatch, but I was waiting for them to use Christopher Young stuff. That's one of the best scores in a horror film, man. Like it's so fucking good.
Yeah, it's
gigantic,
iconic, legendary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! And the way they use the bells in it and shit, right? So in the very beginning, you hear the slightest little bit of the, like just a little bit, right? But then they're doing their own thing. But I'm into it and I'm liking it, and I love that they just keep adding little bits of Young score in there slowly throughout the movie. And then when we get to Act 3, when Leviathan comes down, they are full on Christopher Young mode. And I love that because to me, especially being a fan and knowing what Leviathan is, what is going to happen, like how big of a deal it is, and which is something that didn't really get fully realized in those films, right? Mm-hmm. Like they had high ambitions in Hellbound, but they had a major budget cut, right? So then they couldn't really do what they wanted to. And then they just kind of get out of the Leviathan thing completely, right? And then 5 through the rest, they're all just like case of the week type things, right? Like if Hellraiser was a 90s series, this is what the kind of episodes would be like. By the way, Hellraiser Inferno is fucking awesome. and the sleaziest of all of them. That's probably why it's one of my favorites. But
Which one was that, Robbie?
Inferno Part 5.
Okay.
I really like that one for some reason. It's got the dude from Nightbreed in it, the main guy from Nightbreed.
That was almost like a soft core, wasn't it?
Pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much what they become, as they should. But they could be more soft. They could go more. Anyway, I love the music when it hits that end crescendo. It feels to me like my anticipation of where we're going to go is tied into the reveal of the Christopher Young elements in the score. So that when it explodes, that's when I'm just like, it's like that Vince McMahon meme, you know, where you're like, oh, did you hear those 3 notes from the Christopher Young score? Yeah. Did you hear that fucking theme? And I just keep, and then all of a sudden I'm in another fucking universe, like just fucking in Hellraiser glory, right? Favorite character's Pinhead, the Hell Priest, the High Priest of Hell, right? Like, come on. Jamie Clayton killed it. Absolutely loved her. What it's trying to say. So Hellraiser is a story about sensation. You know, it's a story about addiction. It's a story about pushing those boundaries. I think Fable mentioned the term threshold. There's always a new threshold to cross. That is the truth with drug addiction, alcohol addiction, sex addiction, porn addiction, work addiction, like any kind of obsession, any kind of addiction that you can get through. And this is stuff that we all deal with. This is a universal theme. And it's about the dangers. Ultimately, it's about the dangers of pushing that, right? Like whether even social media addiction is a part of it. And like maybe one day, maybe by part 3, because that's when they start jumping the shark and they had the TV fucking camera, Cinnabite, the CD one throwing fucking CDs at people, right? So by part 3, maybe we'll have the social media Cinnabite or some shit like that, right? But when you have to push, the problem is one thing brings you to that level, to that high, to that sensation, and then nothing will do it again. So you got to keep going. You got to keep going. And what I love about the sacrifice element, the more I thought about it this week after watching this film for the second time, because at first I didn't necessarily like that they could just add in, oh, you can just kill somebody else. Like you manipulate somebody else to do it. But it does fit in with past lore. Like someone is asking, how did Pinhead become Pinhead? Well, in the original ones, it's because he did the box. And I guess he chose power, right? You know, he chose the Leviathan configuration, and that turns you into a fucking Cenobite. But where was I saying? Oh, so we got to keep pushing this. But what I love about adding in the element of sacrifice is that it shows not just what the dangers of pushing these thresholds can be to you, but to those around you. That's what I like. The innocent people surrounding Riley because of her involvement in this. And the reason why that Pinhead chose her, the reason why the box ultimately gets there, even though this dude Voight's trying to do this manipulation type thing, that box finds who is actually seeking it, even if they don't realize that they're seeking it. And that's something that gets established in what some people say the lesser Hellraiser films, but I'm gonna tell y'all 5, 6, and 7's not that great, but I have a special place in my heart for it. 5 and 6, I think, are worth it for you. I mean, everybody should watch Hellraiser Inferno. So that's what it is. It's not just about the dangers of pushing that threshold into more and more sensation, more pleasure, more experience, but at the neglect of your life. You know, you look back at the original Hellraiser and Frank's living in squalor, bugs, nasty shit, all that kind of stuff. So there's that. But how it affects the people around you. So I think that's kind of what this movie in particular is saying. In addition to just the overall theme of all the Hellraiser films, it's adding in that aspect of look how it affects those around you. Yeah. That's what I think. What about you, Vern? What do you think it means? Any other thoughts?
Tough to follow that. Usually I sit and I really try to think about the themes. Nothing really stood out to me on that deep of a level, but I do like that. Like the first one, there's a family vibe going on. You got the brother and the sister and their whole family, and you had Uncle Frank in the first one, so they stuck with that. I guess if it's on that side of things, it's saying something about, you know, get along with the people, some obvious shit. Get along with your family. Don't do drugs and fuck in front of them and then run out of the house. But Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to add to that. I'll just say the cinematography is fucking fire. Throw that in there again. And some of the moments that stood out to me, Dylan, you mentioned the flayed back when she's hugging the brother, and then her fingers sink into his back, and it's like Frank from the first one. That's great. When Riley sends out the chains to her brother in the first place, where she gets stabbed, that looked incredible. So there's a lot of cool stuff. The chains in all these movies, from what I've seen, I love what they do with them cinematography wise.
Todd McFarlane needs to pay attention to this when they do that Spawn movie.
every time they show the Cenobites, every time they show Pinhead, it looks fucking great. Fable mentioned Voight's healing too. That is the closest thing that you get to like the rebirth of Frank moment, but it doesn't compare. I would have just liked to see a little bit more. They should have tried to have one set piece in the movie that would be at least comparable to that. You know what I mean? They need a moment that could be like, holy shit. But yeah, I that's about all I got. I would say it's great. Oh, the other thing I'll mention about the music, just the sound design in general. Because when I listened to I watched it last night, I had headphones in, and like everything sounded so fucking good. The box, the noise it made, the noise the chains made themselves, and like I wish I had more history with the franchise to pick up the bits that you guys are talking about with the old score. Because I've only seen those movies a couple times each, so I didn't notice them blending it in. But the music was fucking phenomenal in the movie. And like you guys are saying, at the end of it, when it peaks, like at the very, very end, is that what you guys are saying? That's the Hellraiser score from the original one?
Yeah.
Because that is... I took note of that. I'm like, this is fucking getting intense. So yeah, the music was great.
Oh my goodness. And then they use the same bell sound whenever the Cenobites are up. Oh my God. I listened to the score at least once a week. I'm not even kidding. Like at least once a week, I listen to it.
That's the sound when Pinhead is being created in the beginning of part 2, when he's in the temple. That noise, and the things are going down. They use that to open the movie here. It's like, and it says like Serbia or something like that, and they show the city. Yeah, they use the same sound.
Who's next? Me?
Mr. Scarpet.
Well, I would say the most horrible thing when it comes to Hellraiser 2020 that I get to my head when I watch this movie is the idea that now, along with Star Wars, the Muppets, and the Avengers, and the Hulk, Disney's got my Pinhead now. They own my Pinhead and my Predator and my Alien. And what will they do with them? Will they make them fight? Will they make them so that they're watered down versions of what they were? There's not as much sex in this movie. It's missing the old flesh on flesh, but other than that, it's pretty close to the old Pinhead. So even though Disney has him now, and I hope he can escape their grasp, I like this movie. I enjoyed it, and rock on, Pinhead. You're a girl now, but hey, you're good. You're good.
There are 2 sex scenes in the movie, but obviously,
they were
sadly no nudity.
Yeah, they weren't something unsexy about them.
I think they're sexier than the sex scenes in the first Hellraiser. To be honest, I'm not a fan of Julia.
The first one it was the sleaze, and it fit into the whole overall milieu of the movie. This sex was just to have sex in the movie. It didn't really figure into the plot. That's
the whole part.
You need your sex to fit more into the plot. I get it. No, you just want to see some Tams, man. That's what.
But there you go.
That's the whole part of
Pinhead, get away from Disney, but other than that, you're doing okay. Enjoy the movie.
Well, sex is a big part of all the Hellraiser stuff.
Sure,
so.
Absolutely.
I don't think.
I think it's a big part of this. It's not softcore pornography, but sex is a big part of this film too. Like the Voight stuff. That
I'm just talking about not the sex, but the sleaze.
I get you, 100%. The sleazy. You don't like making sleazy movies anymore, man. Once Twitter goes away, maybe they'll start making more sleaze.
So, what do you think, Fable? And rating after.
I think Robbie hit the nail on the head. It's definitely about addiction, but I also think it's about taking responsibility for your actions, kind of thing, because the 2 main characters to me are the girl and Voight. the girl is seeking the resurrection of her brother, and Voight's seeking, you know, to reverse what happened to him the first time he was seeking something. And in the end, she accepts responsibility for what she's done. So she accepts that her brother's dead. She accepts that, you know, all of this was her fault, you know, and she's got to live with it. Because even Pinhead tells her, "Oh, a life of regret." Then, right?
I love how they tied that in.
Yeah.
Where they're like, you
Yeah.
have chosen. Then you chose life. You chose to live. That's the
Yeah.
lament configuration. Life
Exactly.
is lamentation. Like, I thought that was so goddamn brilliant. I
It's
still
brilliant. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, you know,
because
she
even when
tells
you
her,
take
know,
responsibility, right, in these situations, like, and you wreck the lives of the people around you because of your actions, and you finally take responsibility, you finally clean up, and you finally do it, doesn't mean that everything's fixed, right? You still got to hold all of that. That still all happened, and we all deal with that, right? And living is regret.
Right.
Damn, that's deep.
And Voight doesn't accept responsibility. Right? In his arc, he still goes after whatever. He knows what these people are about. He still wants to get to the higher plane and still gets screwed from it. And you know, he doesn't want to take responsibility. So that's,
and
I think,
plays his ass too, bro. It was not sensation you were after, but power.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's what I think. On top of the addiction, I think it's strongly about addiction. Like, but if there was another theme to it, I would say it would be about taking responsibility for your actions and having to live with it.
Hells yeah.
Heck yeah. So I guess I'll start with I'll do my rating last, and then you guys say your ratings. Like I think, like Fable said, you know, kind of about, you know, making you know, living with these decisions that you made, and you know, she went in that house, she wanted to be. I don't need Matt on my shoulder. What do you got? What's going on? Like, in a way, he was setting her up, but in a way, Trevor was kind of like, nothing, you know, like, and then she was like, what? Tell me, you know what I mean? Like, so it's tough, you know, like maybe he kind of like didn't want to because he's like, you know, I'm kind of feeling her, but then he was like,
catching feelings, right?
Yeah. Right. It was hard to tell, like, if he's acting.
That's when it started getting obvious, though, because that was so obvious to me that he was trying to get her to bite on that. And then when I really knew 100% that he was not a good guy was when he refused to touch that fucking box.
Yeah.
He's like, whoa, no.
Yeah. And then he's like, so you believe me? He's like, well, yeah. And it's like, get the fuck out of here. No one believes it. No one believes it. You fucking lying sack of shit. And then the 110% confirmation is when Nora goes in that room or gets locked in that room. She's like, I fucking saw someone's in the house. And she the boyfriend is like, what'd she say? And then Trevor's like, nothing. So he literally is like, she doesn't know what she's talking about or something. Like, so he was basically brushing it off, so they had no clue that someone's in this house. Because if Riley heard there was someone in the house, she'd be like, it has to be Voight. She would figure, she would have known. You know what I mean? Because she's so.
And do you think that he kind of knew what was going on with the Cenobites already? Like, he kind of already saw them or something? Because there was a part where he was like, you're supposed to feed it. He said, you're supposed to feed it and bring it back to me. In other words, like, maybe he knew what was going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
and when Riley stabbed the one, he was like, oh, fuck, you fucked up. Like, he definitely knows something, whether or not he's seen it or not, up in the air, but he's at least had it explained to him about the Cenobites, if not.
Another thing is, I was trying to notice this on the rewatch, but when they have to go see, so the woman who is like Voight's assistant, but now she's like in the hospital, like, does she know him? There's like weird little bits where like she looks at him and he looks at her, like, and I'm like, I'm wondering like how long he's been involved and what is his involvement with Voight? Is he one of like these dudes that came in at a party? Like, exactly. Like, is he like other, maybe? Like, what's going on? And I feel like he's catching feelings for Riley, and I think that happens when she shows up in emotional turmoil, and it's the second sex scene with him. where she
Yeah.
shows up.
He-
She's like, "Just fuck me," basically, right?
He tells her he loves her in the middle of sex. Like,
He does.
that slips out. I think it's
Beginning.
Very
he
first
does
one,
love
yeah,
her.
that's right. Oh,
That was
that's
just
an
in the
awkward
moment.
moment. Don't do that during sex.
I love how
Yeah.
how
Not
awkward
the
she
first
is, where
time.
she's just like, all right, I'm gonna flip me over. Just like how like clinical she. Let's try this. It's just like there's an awkwardness to
It's
that.
very real sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, can you point it to the left a little bit? Point it to the left and go about 60 beats a minute.
You guys just heard us fucking, didn't you? And they're like, yeah.
We've
There's
all
been
been
good
there.
stuff. And then just like we said, the score great, the practical effects great, what the director did, cinematography is great. It's all around great. There's, like Robbie had mentioned, there's a couple plot holes. Things could be a little tightened up, but I think movie keeps you interested the entire time. You're really trying to figure it out. Like we said, man, they could have toned down the stuff with the boyfriend so he didn't seem so obvious at some points, not the entire time, but once you get to a point, but man, I am so down for this, and I pray that we get a sequel to this, man. It's like when we finally get something good like this, man, it's like, let's fucking go all the way. Let's get a trilogy. Like, I'll take 6 of these fuckers, man. Like I don't give a fuck, bro. I like what this guy's doing, and I'd love to see what they take, and maybe get Clive Barker to jump more into these, man. Maybe if he saw this, and they try to bring him on as a producer or something.
I think it did inspire him to write a new story in the
Really?
world, right? Because he only ever wrote 2 things with this. He wrote The Hellbound Heart, which led to Hellraiser, and then when he got so tired of them bastardizing his idea, he wrote The Scarlet Gospel, where he kills Pinhead off, right? So I think this has inspired him to go back and explore that world further. I think he really liked this movie. So
That
did I.
is awesome.
I think it really carries a lot of like. I think it's a Hellraiser for 2022. I think it does a great job at that without being too forceful, like some other modern horror reboot attempts are. And I also like that it's not a remake, it's not a requel. To me, this fits in with Hellraiser.
Yeah.
It just fits. It's just part of the world. It's the same world. It's just 1922. It's 2022 now.
What do you think is going on with the new Pinhead? Do you think that this is the same character, just played by a different actor or actress, or do you do? Okay, you didn't think like, because I guess I don't understand the lore. Like, I think, you can make a new Pinhead. This is the new leader.
If you can have different chatterers or different, vagina necks, you can have different.
But the priest, I think, is always the same.
The priest is, and the pins and everything. It's almost like a, I don't know, like a relic of your office, right? Like the mutilation is like a relic of their office, right? Like a sign of it, right? And in the Boom comic book series, Pinhead basically kind of wants to get out of it, and he actually manipulates a woman into going into the figuring out the limit configuration, going through all this shit, right? And she ultimately becomes the new Pinhead, and then replaces him. So for a lot of that Boom run, it's a female Pinhead, and in the original story, Pinhead is described as being an it. Right, described as having characteristics of man and woman, and I think Jamie Clayton really brought that to this role
for sure.
Yeah. And in Hellraiser 2, one of my favorite scenes is when Channard is killing the Cenobites, and every time he kills one, they turn back into their regular human form.
Yeah.
Before they became the Cenobite, and
Chatter's a kid, right?
The people that they pick, or you could kind of even tell the story visually of who they were before they became a Cenobite just by looking at their corpses. It's the weirdest thing. I always found this so fascinating. So maybe they can dive into some of that with these Cenobites, show their past or something.
One of my favorite bits in Hellbound is when Channard turns and gets turned, right? And then he comes out and he says, "And to think, I hesitated." Could you imagine? They did a sequel to this, and the opening is Voight in his Cenobite form. He comes out and it's just like, to think.
I'm kind of surprised no one has tried to kind of tie the Hellraiser universe with the Nightbreed universe. Nightbreed is I get some Nightbreed vibes out of some of this too.
I feel like I heard somewhere that there is it is kind of tied together, right? When we talked Nightbreed, I feel like it was mentioned that there's somewhere written that
it feels that way.
related.
Pinhead is the
They use some of
leader
the
of
same characters.
Pinhead and the leader of Nightbreed too, because he plays the high priest over there.
Uh-huh.
And then the guy who plays the main character in Nightbreed plays the detective, the sleazy detective in Hellraiser Inferno.
Weren't they like? Didn't he have plans to make a trilogy out of it? And I think that's what they were gonna tie it in if they did further films.
Nightbreed flopped like a hot cake. Sadly, although I wish it didn't flop because, dude, to get it deserves a trilogy. They could have really dived into that story. That would have been really cool. I love
that would be a good series. You want to talk about putting something of Clive
that would be.
as a
You could probably do that
in a series than a movie. I think
you could probably do that. What would you say? Would you do just one season, or would you say
you
like
could do
maybe
several seasons of that? I mean, you could build that story because the story is that he, it's like one of those like, is it or isn't it? Like, is he part of these underground mutants, or is he just some serial killer? Is he being framed? There's a lot of that going on, and you can play with that mental state. Is he dreaming this? Is he this? Is he that? You can really dive into that part of it.
Well, so for my rating, all day, man, I go Hellraiser 1 and 2 are like 5s. Even though I know some people like 1 better, to me they're probably like both 5s. If anything, maybe like 2 would be like 4.89 or something. Even though I do love the second just because it kind of builds more into the lore. But 1 is just an awesome, just one-shot movie. It's just so good. Like we talked about the effects and everything. So this one is still fantastic. But like we said, there are a few little nitpicks. So I'm going to say 4.69, brother.
Nice.
So let's see, Fable. Let's start you off, my brother. What's your rating on this?
I go with you, man. 4.69 as well, man. I think hell yeah. I think it's a worthy, like I said, it's worthy of carrying the Hellraiser name. The first movie is, to me, iconic. It's classic. It's, as classic as a Nightmare on Elm Street, as classic as Halloween. It birthed a new one of these, like, nightmare creatures that we love, and that why we're even here today, why we're doing these shows, because of these guys like this Pinhead and all that. So that's big praise, man. 4.69, not perfect, like you guys said. I would put a 5 on Hellraiser, the original, the Clive Barker. So, 4.69. Station.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, I keep hitting unmute and I keep hitting remove by accident. Sorry, bro. Scarpad, what'd you think, brother?
I liked it. I mean, I still like the originals better, obviously. I would give it probably out of 5. I'd give it a 4. I think 4 is very good, 90%.
80%.
It's a good movie. Definitely 8%, 9%. It makes me want to. All right, we'll give it a 4.25. 4.25.
There you
go. And I think it's of all the modern movies, this is certainly an upper tier of a horror film than a lot of stuff that comes out. It's higher level than even the stuff we see on Shudder, I think. So,
well, especially too with it being like a main slasher in a way. Maybe not. He might not be a slasher, but you know what I mean. After the shit show we just got with Michael Myers.
Yeah, no, it's a supernatural movie, and I liked it. So 4.25, I give it until they have come out with another character, maybe make him like Screwhead, have him fight Pinhead in the 5th movie. This will do, and four slips for me.
Yeah,
sick. 4 is solid. 4.25, you said though.
4.25, a reevaluation.
Ryan, what do you think, brother?
I'll go with a 4.0. I think it's as far as especially like franchise sequels, modern sequels to a big franchise like this. It's one of the best ones. It's better than Friday the 13th, what they did with Nightmare on Elm Street.
There's a lot of bad ones.
What they did with the most recent last Chucky movie, I like this better.
The look-wise, Nightmare movie,
right? Yeah, look-wise, phenomenal. Like I think the only thing that will put it over the top is just a little tighter runtime. And for me, there's bits in the second act. Like I'm never a big fan of like when they're doing the investigation in a horror movie. You know what I mean? Where they're trying to figure out, put the pieces together. I wasn't like super invested in that. I think part of it is because I don't understand the mythology as well as you guys. Like the whole Levine, I'm still a little bit lost on some of that. So maybe with a rewatch of a couple of the older ones. But like you guys are saying, first one is a 5 all day. Second one, 4.5. This, I think, is the third best Hellraiser movie that I've ever seen, but this is only the fourth one that I've seen. So, or this, I might even like this one better than the second one, to be honest with you. I only saw that once, but I'll go with a very solid 4 with my man Steph and my other homie Two Gun Pedro down there.
Hell yeah. Solid 4s. Rockin' Robbie.
This one's tough, man. So when I initially reviewed this, I gave it a 4.5. And then when I immediately after watching it this week, I was like, okay, it's not a 4.5. It's not, right? Like, I was hyped up. I had low expectations. It's a great film. It is good. I love this franchise, but it's not a 4.5 for me. But it's not a 4 either. I think 4 is too low, doesn't quite have the nuance there. Now, you know me. I don't like doing this 4.25 bullshit.
He doesn't like the more sophisticated scale over here at DHS.
So the nuance that I like to put into this then is, first of all, I will say this, Vern. It is my second favorite Hellraiser film.
Yeah.
On a second watch for sure. And it's because I do like Hellbound, but you can definitely see in that movie where it doesn't hit the scope that it's going for, right? Like, they really wanted to do a lot more. They had that fucking monster in the hall and all that shit. Like, it's just it's a little weird, right? So I do like that movie though, right? But I do think this is my second favorite Hellraiser film. And so for me, Hellraiser's a 5, and the second one, Hellbound, is like a 4. So I'm going to go 4.369.
There you go. Loophole Robbie right there.
We got a 4.69 from me and Fable. We got a 4.25 from Scarphead. Got a 4 from Vern. We got a 4.369 from Robbie. And then we got a 4 from Link, and a 4 from Two Gun. And I think that is it.
Looks like Perry gave it a square.
Yeah, some squares. Circle gets a square. What's going on there, man?
So I guess we got an average score of 4. It might even be Robbie's score. 4.
Do that math.
9. I think that might be close, man.
4.9.
Pretty damn
No,
close.
I said 4.369.
Yes. That means I'm right. So I'm down with it.
Well, I would more say 4.569, but I think I'm trying to be like more sophisticated with the math, and I think that might be closer.
Can we just say real quick though how amazing this year's been for horror films?
Oh yeah,
it's been a really good year for horror films, man.
Yeah,
that's
it
man.
might be one of the best years in a while.
I think it's the best year since. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying they're going for it. They're not being scared to do certain things. I noticed some over the top scenes in this and Barbarian. You know what I mean? They're going for it. They're not being scared anymore to, like, you know how the 90s were. You know how it was. They stripped back all the super gore, and it's like now it's like they're bringing it back. They're not going too over the top, but they're making it count when it's supposed to count.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, if Bruckner doesn't come back to do another Hellraiser film, if you really want the sleaze factor put back in, let's get Ty West to do a Hellraiser film. How cool would that be?
That would be a good fit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Have you seen House of the Devil and X? Imagine them put together with Pinhead. I think we can get it.
There's 2 on my list that I plan on watching soon. Is what you just mentioned, House of the Devil and The Innkeeper. Yeah. Those are 2 Ty West films.
I haven't seen The Innkeeper. I need to watch that one.
I need to watch Pearl.
Pearl's good, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
One of the best movies of the year for me.
Pearl is great. So looks like we are wrapped up for the Hellraiser review, and it looks like, what do we got next week? Let me look at the freaking list. I'll be forgetting.
Oh shit, I didn't even get that ready. I know what it is. Hold on.
Oh yeah, we got a good one because we got the holidays coming up. So we got us
Amityville Thanksgiving.
Ooh, I think I do know what it is.
Yep. We got us some Blood Rage, y'all. one of the only Thanksgiving slashers.
Blood
One,
Rage.
you at least.
What about
didn't-
Amityville Thanksgiving?
Bro, that's not a movie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Uh,
I'll see the cover art.
I didn't
Bro,
see this on the
I
list.
saw the cover art. Fake, bro.
where are
No,
they
it's
streaming
a
that
real
one?
movie.
Man?
It's
That's a real
real?
movie.
I'm gonna look
It's
it up
real.
right now,
Well,
Fable.
There it
Has
is.
nothing to do with Amityville.
Look at that great thumbnail
It's
that
real,
Mike did
man.
for us.
You can buy it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he killed it.
I've never
That's
seen it. I didn't
beautiful.
realize it's a Thanksgiving themed one. That's appropriate.
Yep, that's why I did it, because it comes right. Actually, that's my reverse art.
Is it streaming anywhere?
I'm looking it up.
Should be on Shutter.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
There
Or
is a
Tubi.
movie with killer turkeys. I'm not. There is a killer
Yeah,
turkey.
bro. Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's different. That's
We
not
don't got to
Thanksgiving.
stretch too far just to stay on theme.
It's not what?
Oh,
Let's not
Thanksgiving.
suffer
I just
for
said
it.
that's Thanksgiving. That's not Amityville.
No,
Thanksgiving.
but there is an Amityville Thanksgiving too.
It has nothing to do with Amityville, I bet.
Well, they call it
guarantee it.
Amityville
It's
Thanksgiving.
just
That's
the-
about it.
There's
they
so
were-
many movies that have
Two guys said
Amityville and have
Tubi.
nothing to do with Amityville.
Oh, I
What
know
I
that.
really like is I remember one time Joe Bob did a Thanksgiving show and he did Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I
Is that
get it.
I
I
get
get
it,
it.
kinda.
They're
I-
eating people.
Oh, I get it.
Then he did Hills Have Eyes, same thing, right? So like,
I wonder
they're eating people.
that Amityville Thanksgiving. I wonder how that one is.
I don't see it on Shutter, by the way, but
You'll have to send me some
not,
links
they
for
might-
the
maybe
streaming
I
version
think
of that. I
it
don't have
is.
that. I don't
Tubi.
have that in my collection. I don't think so.
It's like
What?
Tubi, Verno.
okay. Yeah, it
Oh,
says
no.
it's on Tubi. Yep.
Not Tubi.
Yeah, it's on Tubi, but you can rent it on
Mhm.
on YouTube and Amazon Prime. So you can rent it for like $1.99 or whatever. So
This is a slasher movie. Yep. Hour and 22
$1.99
minutes.
I love how
already
Scarpet-
like-
Oh,
I love how-
hour
I
and
love how-
22 minutes. Yeah, we're
I love
good.
how Scarpad's like, I won't pay $2 to rent this movie.
I
Any
know.
movie I've never heard of, though, I'll pay
I own
$3
it.
for the
I
front.
own it on
Right.
the collector's
Oh,
edition,
baby.
and I own it on 4K.
I'm true to physical media, baby.
Me too. But
Speaking of which, I have
Sure.
stuff to show.
you're funny. You're funny with it though. Okay, so next week, like I said, we got Blood Rage. Definitely worth picking up this Arrow video if it's on sale. If maybe Diabolic has a good sale or anything. And then Monday, yes, we see Scarpad. He's doing Forbidden Planet on the Sci-Fi Show, and then, well, Robbie, you can go back to yours. So Scarpad, show it again real quick. Show him that awesome cover. Forbidden Planet. Look at that physical media right there.
You know what I
You
love
don't
about
play,
Forbidden
man.
Planet? Do you remember the name of the robot?
Robbie.
Isn't that Robbie?
Robbie the robot.
And then my boy Rockin' Robbie's doing The Godfather Part 2.
Yeah,
So you
boy.
can go right into Scarpad's Sci-Fi Sorens and then go right into The Godfather Part 2.
Hell yeah. Very excited to unpack this one with the excitable PCP crew. We had a great conversation on Godfather.
Dude.
So I'm really excited for Godfather
Some
Part 2.
people say it's the sequel of all time.
Dude, the best part of that conversation you guys had is Perry's never seen the movies, and you guys are like, you're like, Robbie's like, I'm not spoiling anything. It's a well-known thing. Then in the sequel, Robert De Niro plays the Godfather. He's like, get out of Dodge. He's like blown away by that.
Because he comes in, he's like, I'm watching. Because he comes in, he's like, I'm watching The Godfather. All of a sudden, Al Pacino shows up. I'm like, what the fuck? Al Pacino's in this movie? And then I told him that Robert De Niro's in the second one playing Vito, and he's just like, get the fuck out of here, you're crazy.
It's so perfect.
You guys should have
Perry
watched
to
the
fill
movie
that
verse.
role. He fills that role of the person that is new to it fucking
Yes.
better than anyone could, man. I love
Oh,
it.
without a doubt. I
It's
love
so
it.
good.
It's so good. So looks like we're gonna get into show and tell. Are you guys chilling or you guys gotta dip out?
I got to dip
Yeah, I
out. I
gotta
know my
step
man
out.
Fable does.
Fable, man, I hope you feel better, man.
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all for
brother.
I'll
being
see you
here.
next time, dude. Thanks for joining. Verno, dude.
Yeah.
Tell the
Always
wife
fun,
I said
guys.
thank you for letting you
Time to
slide
eat,
away.
baby. Time to
dinner
I
eat.
so
know.
you
It's,
could
I
come
can
hang.
smell it. It's smelling good.
You
I'll
go
say
and-
again.
You go
Go.
enjoy it, brother.
Horror fans, go follow me on Instagram, blood.splatter.chatter. And I'm putting up a death a day, having a lot of fun with that.
Hell yeah.
Some gory shit. Fucking
Hell yeah.
until I get kicked
I
I was
off
like, damn,
Instagram.
he's getting away with this shit. I was like,
I
damn,
kind of
it's pretty
don't know.
graphic.
Let me just say this, because I don't know Instagram's things. The first video that I put up was this Fulci compilation of like some really gory shit. Within the first like 10 minutes, it did really well, and then it stopped. And then everything I've put up after that, it's like somebody complained and they're like, "We ain't fucking pushing this shit." I don't know their standards or anything, but I don't think Instagram liked the gore.
I think most social media platforms don't like the gore. They don't like anything that could be considered controversial.
Unless it's Twitter, you got people sucking dicks and eating pussy, and it's fucking Twitter. You can do whatever you want.
How do you know that, Vern?
Fucking search it. Yeah.
What Twitter tool are you using, baby?
Dude, go to Twitter and just put hashtag pussy or something like that.
I know
You're gonna have some shit pop up.
You know how Twitter will be like, you're the person you follow, you're friends with this person. They commented on this, and it popped up my feed one time. I was like, that chick's sucking a dick. I was just like, damn, what is this? Pornhub? What
views on TikTok?
See, I do believe it, dude. I feel like things like that get flagged, and like if they haven't kicked me off yet, but I don't think they're. I think they're holding me back. But we'll see. I'm curious. But you guys are the best. Great
drop
pick,
the letter to Elon. He'll take.
Dude, can't wait for next week, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Peace
It's
out,
gonna be a fun
fellas.
one.
fellas.
Love you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Feel better, Fable.
Yeah, man. Thanks, brothers.
Who wants to kick off show and tell, Scarphead or Robbie?
Let Scarpad go.
Okay. Well, no toys this week.
No
12
toys. Come on.
No, I got no toys.
No, I'm just kidding. I know you got
this
some.
this is one thing I want to show off. This is the Blu-ray steelbook covers they sell at Amazon, and they do a nice job, especially if you want to keep your steelbooks nice and fresh. That locks right in there. The back artwork goes on pretty well.
Oh, you even got the slip too on there.
Even yeah,
so you don't gotta lose it.
So if you don't want to scratch up your steelbooks, these are worth getting. They're like $17 for 25 cases. A little expensive, but not too bad. All right, movie-wise,
You might be able to catch them on.
once again, Amazon's going fucking crazy with their prices, and I don't want. And then Dylan sends me shit, makes me buy it. Forcing that Cinnabite shit on me.
Hey, you do it to me too.
I never saw Interstellar. They had this for $8. I never seen it. Maybe I'll do it on Scarpad's Sci-Fi Sojourns. I hear it's a good movie.
It is good.
So we may do this one week. So I got picked that up. Interstellar. I want to see that. And then another thing I understand, this movie's older than shit, and they got slipcover. I get stuff on Amazon that's 3.5 months old, and slipcover's gone. So go figure that out.
I'm gonna try that one, see if I get it.
And then I picked up Reservoir Dogs in 4K.
I want that.
This has the nice little slip. And
yeah, those are nice.
I wish I had the original artwork, but we get everything.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that is. And I never seen this one yet either. This was $9.99. This is 4K on everything.
Yeah, let me know how you like
everywhere all at once. I have to watch that because I haven't seen it yet.
I kind of want that, but I'm not sure how good it is.
And then they had this on sale for like $6. The Expendables 1, 2, and 3 on Blu-ray. Now I could have got this on 4K, but it was like $40. So when something's $6.99 on Blu-ray, yeah, it's good enough.
I don't think those need it on 4K.
And then I watched this one. I got this one from Shout, Stallone's Cobra. Boy, this movie does fucking suck. But what's really the best thing about it is all the special features where every one of the actors tell you the fucking movie sucks. It tells all these great stories about how they got into Andrew, the guy from Garrick there, Andrew Robinson, and it's a great disc. Great disc.
I'll tell you what, that's one of the best shitty movies in my opinion. I love
it. It's a great movie. I love the movie, but it does suck. But it's
it is the highest viewed PCP movie night. Over 16,000 views now in our Cobra review. I can't believe it.
I love how man.
You watch this movie and they got a bunch of fucking dudes with hammers that make, and even these guys said that it was supposed to be a satanic cult and that all got cut. It's a good one, but it's kind of, and the disc is fantastic.
The way that Sylvester Stallone eats pizza in that fucking movie.
Dylan was buying this. He got it for $5, so I picked up Fight Club. I can't believe this movie's
it was $4.
Yeah, $4. I can't believe this movie's not out on 4K.
Me either.
Unbelievable.
But you know what company owns it now, so that's why.
Right. So it's but great movie. Love Fight Club. Of course, I got this one this week. This is the Walmart edition of Pearl with the different cover.
Oh,
I love this cover, even though it doesn't have the X in it for the sequels. I still think it's a great cover and a good movie. Didn't have this one in collection, so I picked up on 4K Maniac.
Nice. I need to get that one too.
From Blue Underground. I haven't seen this movie since it first came out, so it's been a long time.
Well, that's a sleazy movie.
It is, certainly is. And then they had this fairly cheap. Not one of my favorite Monty Python movies, but I figure since it's the last one, I'll pick it up. The Meaning of Life.
Oh, I do like that movie. Yeah, you're right. It's not Life of Brian for sure.
Or Holy Grail, but it's pretty good. Meaning of Life with a slip. This one I heard a lot of things about. I have not seen, but everybody said that I watched the review for on YouTube. You got to get this. Is the Japanese Evil Dead or Bloody Muscle Builder from Hell. It's just an ultimate. I guess this movie was shot in 1995, sat on the shelf for like 25 years, and kind of like what they did with New York Ninja. And they finished it and they put it out, and it's supposed to have some really fantastic practical gore effects. So there it is, known as the Evil Dead of Japan. Want to see that? And lastly, but not leastly, go from the Bloody Muscle Builder of Japan to probably one of the all-time greats, Casablanca on the 4K Ultra HD, Humphrey Bogart. This is the all-region international set, and it's got some posters, a really good steelbook of Casablanca, and a really nice booklet about the movie. So
very cool.
That's what I got.
The only thing questionable about that is the design on the front slip, where it's like, it's this all white cast, but they're in Africa. I mean, I get where the movie is, but it's just weird to do it that way in it.
1941, baby. That's how they roll.
I love Casablanca, man. I love that movie.
And that's everything I got this week.
Good haul.
Hell yeah.
What did you guys get? Anything? I know Dylan got some stuff.
Well, I got some things I want to show off just because being a Hellraiser fan, I don't want to show off all my Hellraiser stuff. We don't have time, but if anybody hasn't noticed the shirt I'm wearing.
I love Famous Monsters of Film.
Nice.
Love that shirt. Love that all of a sudden I can fit in it again. I haven't fit in that shirt in a long time. Here's my Lament configuration Rubik's Cube, which I have never jumbled because I'm not good at Rubik's Cubes, but I'm also afraid that if I jumble it up, I'll never get it back. And if I did get it back, that would lead to very bad things. You know what I'm saying? So
I'd go for it.
There's my Arrow edition of Hellraiser 1, 2, and 3.
That's nice.
Love this set. It's gorgeous.
I want that just for 3, man.
It's the only way to get 3.
Yeah,
I have the first 2, but not the third one.
It's the only way to get 3, I think. And
that's why I'm like, I don't want to buy it just for 3. But
somebody bring out 3.
For the rest of them, this is actually a DVD set I got for like $5 or $2. Or I think it was like $5 to $10,
man.
But I got this at Walmart, and this has part 3 in full frame. Who gives a shit? Because I got that Blu-ray.
Yeah. How many times do we really watch that one?
Yeah, but it has all the way through 8. And I would really like to get some cool DVDs of some of the others. I know that Bloodlines and I think Inferno's on is on Blu-ray, but I don't think that
there's like a 4-pack Blu-ray for those for 4 of them.
Yeah, so maybe I need to get that. This is from when I met Doug Bradley. Right there. Just always like to revisit that. That's my favorite thing that I've gotten signed by anybody is this from fucking Doug Bradley. All right, so there's all the Hellraiser junk. I opened this up. I showed this off in package last week, but I opened it up. That is an amazing looking figure. Michelangelo as the mummy.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right. Blu-ray haul. Let's see. What did I get this week? Well, first of all, I got a really cool AOK from Two Gun Pedro. And he sent me And Then Emily Was Gone, which is a John Lee's book. Highly lauded. Now, I've had John Lee's on my channel like 3 or 4 times. We just recently had him on again, and I have never read this. So every time we talk to him, I want to have read this, but it's hard for me to find at my shop. Like I can't really get it through my distributors. So thank you, Two Gun. That's awesome.
Oh hell yeah, he sent me that too. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, he also sent me You're Next, because I'm pretty sure that maybe somebody's going to be spotlighting this movie at some point soon. So it
might be coming up next, shortly down the road.
And then he sent me a copy of Triangle, which he says he really, really likes. I've never seen it. I know Dylan's.
I would recommend watching that a couple times because it is a very cool movie, but it kind of, it's one of those that goes back and forth, so it's worth 2 watches at least. And I would say
Pedro is worth 2 watches, right?
Yes, sir. And Two Gun would say just to be able to dive deeper into it. It'll be a fun combo though.
Yeah, no kidding. Dylan showed this off last week, and I actually had it, but I was holding some Blu-rays back so I would have Blu-rays this week because I didn't know I was getting that package from Two Gun. But I picked up the Black Cat as well.
Hell yeah.
This was, I mean, it was $15.
Yeah, it was cheap.
Right? So, and right now, Criterion and Amazon Blu-rays are on sale at Barnes & Noble. So
as soon as we were done with the stream last week, that was the first thing I popped in.
That's a cool movie, isn't it?
Gave me a little idea for some upcoming stuff.
Nice. I picked this up. I don't know why, but I picked this up for some reason.
I need to get that, man.
Complete your Jamie Lee Curtis collection.
Yeah. The Scream Factory one's like way too expensive.
Way out of print. That one actually has the same shit, and I think it has more special features.
It's got the 2K scan, it says, and it says
Yes.
brand new on-camera interviews with director and screenwriter. That's
It
all
has
it says.
more. If you look up the Scream Factory, it just has a cool reversible artwork, but I think it has 2K scan and it has no features. So I think that's better to own. I could be wrong, but I know that's still a very good version to own.
You're worth it, Two Gun. And the final thing I got, last but not least, I just got the regular pearl slip, but you know I had to get my pearl, man. I really like the slip that you got, though, Scarphead. That's dope. But I also love how this does have the X, so it works well with the other one.
Too.
I love this film. I pre-ordered it. When I pre-ordered it, this is why I love Amazon sometimes. I pre-ordered this, and it was $30, right?
Yeah.
And I just said, whatever, I'll go for it. And then on the day of release,
you get the best price.
Thank God.
It was $22.99 when it shipped. And then when it came out, it had dropped down to $14.99.
Yeah.
So I actually got money back from Pearl.
Yeah,
and I bought it.
They do that.
I bought it with my Amazon rewards from my Amazon card. So this was basically just
Then you gotta leave even more a little
bonus. So there you go. And that's what I got.
Sick, dude. Yeah, I love, man, I tell you. So since you started with that, bro, I'll tell you, dude, because I just am crazy. So I picked up that too. But then I was like looking at it and I'm like, man, I really like the X in the background. So I had to get I saw it go down in price. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I'm not that bad.
That's a little crazy, brother.
Hey, you watch it. You're real bad too.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm buying like
2 copies of ET.
I'm buying They Live for the fucking 3rd time. So
exactly. So, and you just bought ET again. Now you have the 35th and 40th. But I had to get this. Did you get yours yet? Didn't you just show it?
No.
You didn't? Oh, I want to know what you think of it. I think the scans are the same as the 35th. I don't know though. So I'm waiting for someone to drop a video, but I love that slip. Love this movie. But yeah, I don't know which do you guys still like this one better?
I like that one better, but
a little bit of gloss. So I really like them both. It's hard.
I really like the regular one just because I like that cover, and it does have this like sheen to it. I don't know about but the other one I really like too. I like both of them.
It does have a sheen to it.
Not enough to get both.
The Walmart one is a little shinier. Well, I can always return.
I'll probably wait until the third movie. When the 3rd movie comes out and they do a 4K box set, I'll probably be buying them again anyways.
Well, I figure that they're also going to do a 3rd one, and I bet you that will have the X behind it. So
I'm sure it will.
Picked up Fight Club for $4. I used to have this with the slip, but I somehow
have it with the slip.
Yeah, I wish I still did, but whatever. I'm just glad to have it back in the collection. This was also like $4. Children of the Damned. Had to snag that.
That's the original. That's dope.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Well, isn't this the sequel to Village of the Damned?
I think so.
Because the chilling story from the makers of Village of the Damned.
Well,
I don't know.
My knowledge is not direct sequel, but it's similar to it.
Kind of like a random what if sequel or something. And then we were showing Blood Rage for next week. It's gonna be a fun one, no doubt. Got the Suicide Squad in 4K. I've been wanting this for a while too. I'm glad it went down in price.
Yeah, see a movie like that, no slip, but yet fucking Interstellar has a slip. It makes no sense.
Well, that's probably because I guess maybe it didn't sell out like crazy on the 4K. It probably because when that came out, Blu-ray was gonna probably be more popular, so the
Mm.
4K probably came out after, and by then people were just like, I don't even care, dude. I already own it on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And then also thank you, Scarpad, for letting me know about this, because I think the fourth one's coming soon, and I
there is,
enjoy it.
yeah.
These are fun, just
They're just fun,
action.
stupid movies. They know what they
Exactly.
are.
I still have never seen them. Still have never seen them.
And this is, I
Gotta
think,
do
the
that for an action fest, Robbie.
last thing
Yeah,
I
I'm
got.
figuring out Action Fest. I'm thinking about adding at least the first one because we already got a few franchise reviews.
First one would definitely be worth it at least. This said it was going out of print on Scream Factory, and I was actually a big fan of the first 2 seasons. I believe there's 3, maybe 3 on Netflix, and then a 4th, I think, on Shudder. But season 1 of Slasher.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
This is a good. I enjoyed this. They made like 3 seasons, but it's basically like it's a slasher series, and each season kind of has its own story and a different kind of slasher. And I really enjoyed it. I recommend checking it out on Netflix. But I think season 1 was my favorite, so I had to pick it up because it's just about to go out of print in the next few days, I'd say. So it's like $12, so I just wanted to snag it. So
Also,
especially since it was on Netflix, so you'll never get that.
Speaking of things about to go out of print, Shout Factory announced that they're like less than 90% sold. They're like a little bit more than 90% sold through of Space Truckers now. So if anybody's wanting to complete that,
Dude, I want that so bad. It's almost gone.
it's almost gone.
It's so
Now's the time.
it's so expensive, man. It's like 20.
Damn you, Robbie! Damn you!
It'll be more expensive, just like Robot
know.
Cops, if we don't get it now, Dylan.
Damn you all to hell!
Then they're gonna freaking try and charge shipping.
I know, man. Mine's in my cart right now, but they're also doing right now a good box set sell at Shout. So if there's some stuff there that you haven't picked up, maybe
I got most of it though. The only thing I really want is that Wreck box set, and then
I got that Wreck box
the Universal Monster. That's the only one I really don't have. And then the Universal Monsters ones that Oh, last thing I got. I'm so bummed. I wanted to put these up, but you guys know Scarpad sent me that box of posters. So I looked, and there was a sale on some frames, and I got more coming. So this is just the start. So, but soon these will be up in the room, man, and this is gonna look so good.
Nice.
OG Child's Play. Then wait till the other ones come in, and I put up the Halloween ones and my In Search of Darkness ones, and then maybe like the Fog. Dude, I cannot wait just to have these up on the wall, dude. As soon as I put them in, I'm like, I gotta get more frames.
Yeah, for sure.
So these are gonna look so good, man. Like, I have these sitting in tubes, man. Like a bunch of posters, man. I want to put them up. I got like my King Kong poster I gotta put up and stuff like. But those frames, man, can be really hit or miss. So I've been waiting for a sale to come, and with Black Friday, they went down to like.
Well, just so everybody knows too, if you have a Region B player, you can buy Space Truckers 1845 on Amazon. If you own a Region,
I think
B
I do remember that being on. I'd like to own it on Scream Factory if I can, but just because I know that probably has the best, it's going to have a 2K scan, I'm sure, and that region free is probably not. So,
yeah,
I got to see about that. Damn it. I really want that. All right, though. As always, man, thank you guys. Yeah, I should have enough wall space. Plus, I got the whole house now, so probably add some stuff in the basement. But I'm going to have to maneuver some stuff behind me. But the posters aren't as big as like that Avengers one. The posters that I just showed are smaller than that. So they're really like I could fit, like I have the first 5 Halloween posters that Scarpad sent me. I could easily fit all 5 just straight across. The only thing is I would just have to move some of that stuff that's up on against the wall just down. No biggie, we'll figure it out. It's gonna come together and it's gonna look real nice once it is. So definitely come check us out this Monday night. What was it, 7:30 Eastern, or what is it, 8:30?
7:30. Yep, 7:30. We'll be done before Robbie does his show at 9. So 7:30 to 8:30. Yep. Perry and you and me. Yep.
Yeah, go check us out Monday night, 7:30.
And I'll be announcing on Monday. I'll be announcing the movies coming up for December, which we've decided on. So find that out on the night. So good ones.
Yeah, brother.
Great list.
Hell yeah. And then we can, after Scarpad's sci-fi show for Forbidden Planet, you can go right into The Godfather Part 2, where Robbie and his buddies will be talking about that with Perry and them, and that will be a great conversation.
Shit, I hear Robert De Niro's in that.
What? You're kidding
No
me.
way. E.T. is fire. And yes, Link Slasher was on Netflix, and they did a 4th season, but that went to Shudder. But dude, those first 3 seasons on Netflix are worth checking out. I believed I remembered really liking the first 2. The 3rd went a little south.
I think I saw like 5 minutes of it. Is this like a slasher, different slasher every week? Is that what it is?
No, it's a slasher, but it's like 1 season.
But what I'm saying is an anthology, so it's about something different of it. Oh,
it's a different show every season.
Oh,
that's what I was trying. It's kind of like American
Horror.
Horror.
It's kind of like they focus on one dude, and then the next season focuses on somebody else.
Yeah, and then they're getting tracked by some different slasher or something. I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't remember everything. But season 1, I remembered liking it, and that it was just going out of print, so I wanted to snag it. But yeah, so yeah, it's just like a double feature on Mondays, no doubt. So yeah, next Saturday, 7:30 Eastern, come check us out while we review Blood Rage. That's gonna be a lot of fun for a little Thanksgiving celebration to get us ready for the festivities. So we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Is it about a turkey? Is there a turkey in this movie? A killer turkey?
Bro, what the fuck are you talking about?
You're a turkey star.
It's Thanksgiving.
If
it's a Thanksgiving movie, you should have a fucking killer turkey in it, no?
Oh my God.
I just got a movie on Plex about a demonic Christmas tree about some dude that dies and comes back as a killer tree.
Killer turkeys in the show.
I don't know. It's Thanksgiving.
They're not going to watch that movie.
I thought maybe the turkey had the blood rage.
Man, you fucking know damn well there's no turkey in this movie.
I know. I do. I've never seen the movie, so I'll be very surprised if I'm watching a Thanksgiving movie and there's no fucking killer turkey in it. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I thought you'd seen this. I thought you were fucking with me. Yeah, Thanksgiving will be next year. So hold your horses, Scarpad.
I'm waiting for you to do Poultrygeist.
Poultry. Okay. Well, we were thinking of Poltergeist, but I guess that can't
Poultrygeist. It's a trauma film.
I know Poltergeist, that jack shit musical.
It's not a total musical. That's a musical.
If it wasn't a musical, it'd be a lot better, honestly. Because it's not bad. I just don't like the music in it. But yeah, man, great show as always, guys. Thank you guys all for coming and hanging out. You guys are the best. Come join us next Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. As always, come check us out this Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Scarpad's channel, and then go check out Robbie shortly after at 9.
Or that big dog will get you and kill you.
I didn't hear what you said.
The big dog. Who's big dog?
Oh, yeah. So y'all have a great rest of your weekend. We love y'all, man. Dang, that dog is loud, man.
Eat some bird, everybody. Eat some bird.
Heck yeah, man. Have a great night. And
unless you're a vegetarian, then
make sure you guys watch your Thanksgiving turkeys and that they don't kill you, because I guess Scarpad's
it might kill people after I burn it. Or
it might, man. You never know, bro. They might come back for revenge.
It should be called
that's a good movie right there.
Tryptophan Terror.
Well, yeah, man. Thanks as always for hanging, guys. You guys are the best. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.